In incremental readings, I'm going to react to the video of starting with incremental reading by going through the Incremental Reading Manual, something that a lot of people do, as I did myself. This is from Raj and was uploaded 3 years ago.
Alright, so this video is going to be on how to go through the Incremental Reading Manual to learn.
By the way, it's something I did with him at the very start of my journey. We imported the article and then we split, and there are a few things that I would not recommend. And by the way, I only skimmed that video in the past, so I never watched the entire thing. Until now.
It's still way too much to do in a single day, so the second thing we can do is we can spread it. So with spread, we can make it so that it shows us, say, one.
Okay, about the spread, kind of disagree. If you're going to import this article from day one, something needs to be done because there's nothing outstanding from previous days, because there are no previous days. But doing the spread, and so early in this stage that you don't know what you're doing, or you don't understand the consequences much later, I'm not sure.
Extract per day, or 20 if we want. I'm going to show you how to actually do this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is copy this, so the IR manual link, and I'm going to put this in the description, and then go to Internet Explorer. Probably haven't used that in a while, have you?
No, I use it almost daily for importing Wikipedia. After the ban. This is outdated now. You can use Chrome or Edge to import, as long as you use Supermemo 19.
But we don't have much choice for now. Hopefully that'll change in the future. But
it did.
So we're going to want to open that up in IE to show all content. I'll just give it a little bit to load. Yep, there we are. And now we have this here. So we want to import this into Supermemo. So go back to Supermemo, and then do the shortcut you can use is Control-Shift-A. Right? Now with Control-Shift-A, we'll see that.
Yeah, and if you use Chrome or Edge, it's Shift F8. So if I press F8, it will get all of the tabs open. So those are the tabs. I will have to censor some of them because it's getting all of the tabs from all of the profiles from Chrome. Here you see YouTube. It's the video I'm watching, I'm reacting to, and that's the manual. In this case, you see the D. That means it's a duplicate. It's already in my collection. So this is how it looks in Supermemo 19.
It's referring us to this thing we have open in Internet.
But you can also use Internet Explorer and import it. Keep in mind now you see that it says that it's not duplicate. I don't know if that's a bug or I don't know, but it detects a duplicate from Chrome, but not from Edge. Keep this in mind.
Explorer. And that we can import it, right? So what we can do is them out, and I'll import.
This will only appear once, especially if it's very early in the collection. Why? Because memorized means that is for topics, it's green, and blue for items. All he has, because it's the ABC collection, is this pale blue. This is pending. It's not memorized. It's not even in the priority queue. So when you don't have anything left, you will have this. Hey, you're removing the last memorized element from your collection. This result, no worries. This will only show up if it's a very, very unique thing you have in your collection that is memorized.
So in this case, you saw that it.
I don't suggest to use this as he did, because this will be adding noise to your knowledge tree. Use a concept instead. And in case you haven't done any concept at all, just use your root element. In my case, because it's called root itself, but it is this this one here, this root element. The one to the top, that is it will be the name of the collection. Or if you have already a concept for, if I go to my genuine collection, I will put it here in SRS and IR, spaced repetition and incremental reading.
What do we do next? So what you want to do is right click, and there's this very, very strange bug that you need to fix. So you have to right click on the element here, do reference, and then do edit. And you're going to see the title is...
It's not a bug, it's because the article itself has the Supermemo syntax for sources. So it gets this if it was from the genuine one. The Barack Obama is the example from the actual manual. So you have to edit this, but this has been solved. I think the last time I tried. Oh yeah, still happens. Barack Obama. You need to still edit this. And if you import, okay, so that's the import through Chrome, and you can know this because it says the memory usage of the tab in the title. In Chrome works. So, actually speaking, the bug has been fixed. Not really. It's there for Internet Explorer. The only fix is that the new they have done, the new imported from Chrome and Edge, they fixed that.
It was Barack Obama. For mysterious reasons beyond my... Well, actually, I know why, but...
Not mysterious. The syntax is there.
Essentially, it'll be very mysteriously have this terrible, terrible metadata. And this is like the only... What we'll do... Okay. And the date... Let's see what the date is. Okay, I already closed it. So... And then this... The link we want. This link...
That's actually the metadata from Wozniak collection. His YouTube collection.
With, whoops, that's not the link we want. So link is important. Just and then do split. Okay.
The good thing is that if you don't bother with this, which I suggest not to bother now, if you use Chrome, you won't require. But for the record, if this happens with any other article, you can edit the sources later when you realize, and then this propagates to all of the elements using this reference. So you won't have to change, oh man, now I have done damage in my collection. No. You do this, you accept the command, the prompt, apply this to all elements using this, and no difference. The end result, no difference.
Paste, and then do OK. And the next thing you want to do is split. So
before this, that's a good example. You have the editable version of the wiki page, and that's the one I imported, I think. That's why I don't get the duplicate. Let me check. I don't touch my memory. So look at the URL. It is slightly different. And if I open this on Internet Explorer, so it's supermemory.com help, IL, help.supermemo.org, wiki, incremental learning. Learning! By the way, not reading. Then, look at that. This other one is not detected as duplicate. Why? Because I have the other one. What I suggest is you have to choose the non-editable version. That depends. In this case, feel free to use this one, but for any other Supermemo related article in the wiki, use the other wiki. Use this one, help@supermemo.org. The help.supermemo.org is more up to date because it's editable. So if something is new in Supermemo 19 or some user in Supermemopedia has reported not even a bug, but a description that could have been improved or corrected, this will have it, not the other one. I think this one is only updated. It's only updated after every single release, and not even that.
To use split, you want to press Control Enter, which is Supermemo Commander. Split.
Okay, so here comes the split. Look at the contents. You have big sections, incremental reading, We cannot not even see the third one. And then subsections, other basic skills, hints and tips. What I will suggest instead is first to split on those big chunks, being big parts, and through each part the second level. So here, if you want, you can flatten the hierarchy. But everything in one flat hierarchy, it will be a lot harder to prioritize or do a subset of what you want. I want this, I want to postpone that. It will be a lot harder.
You can do split, press enter, and then these default settings.
And this is achieved by selecting custom string. I'm just selecting the first or the second in case it's this, I don't remember. For instance, you have now dummy topics that is just a title. So incremental reading, and then all of this introduction, will be child. So a lot more manageable to select. Oh yeah, I don't care about templates. So boom, I deprioritized all of the branch.
We want to do control space.
Or video, incremental email, and all of those sections that are quite obscure, and most people won't not even bother because you don't need that.
And what control space does, you can split it up so that we don't just do all of these reps.
And if you open this on the browser, it will be a lot more manageable. Let me actually do it for real. So first I need to know which tag is using. Since I have conventions, color coding conventions, I will know that. Okay, it's H1. Cool. So now I know split, and in this case I will select just the H1, heading 1. Now do you see here Barack Obama? That's because of the metadata, you get this back. But this is meaningful. What people say about incremental reading? That's more soft. It's about the philosophy and so on. So this doesn't have the same priority. You won't want to do this on the same time. Additional skills, this is something you will do later on instead. So it's a lot easier that, okay, I will postpone this. So if I open this in the browser and I see additional or whatever, oh yeah, boom, 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 I change now the priority. The priority will be much lower. Even without resetting the interval, I'm not touching anything. What people say, here I will care, but not today. It will be really high, but once I have mastered it, or I'm fluent with Supermemo, I got at least basics. And if I want, instead of postponing, since there are just a few items, a few elements, I can just hard code it here. And then, you know what? Let's put 100 days. And I will see it in 100 days from now. And now, since here, I already changed the priority, it's 50%. Now I know this is the second header. Let's see, recognizable, So that's something I will do later. So let's pretend 3 months from now. Now I want to start this, or I want to investigate if it's good enough. I will be now splitting by the header 2. What happened here? It didn't work. So I'm doing this knowing why. So instead, what you want to do of the built-in, what happens is that if you see, it opens H2 and closes the tag. If the tag has something else, has a CSS class or whatever, it won't work. So it's H2, and you don't close it down. It remains here, open. And now it works. So even if you use header 1 and header 2, if you start in Supermemo today, and you want to split, never split by those. Heading 1 or 2 or something like that. Always custom string. So you are sure that if there's something else, it will work regardless. So now it always starts with this color, the purple. That means header 2. Cool. That's incremental. So that's more meaningful to have. And now, wait a second, I still have it's a decent amount. 35 because I have the folder. 35, it's decent enough. So here you don't need to split, even if you have subcategories, like here or some other ones, even if it's larger, I will not do it. It's an overkill. So from here, I will just do the regular extracts. But what happened is that starting priority, we modified 50%. And then this was 30, okay, quite higher. But look at this. All of the childs we created by the split have a similar priority already. That's why you should first set the priority before splitting. So if I check all of the elements, look, the priority are quite different. Nice. And then I go to the this massive contents. In this case, I'm not required to look at this because I already know it's here. I have the table of contents. So now I see there are 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. So for instance, neural creativity, that is way later. It will be the last thing you will do in Supermemo because you'll require a very rich collection for that. Let's say that you don't care about email, like I said, or before, or audio or video. You're not going to use this in Supermemo. Or perhaps you just want to try it out, but nothing serious. Then, yeah, let's do it. Split, custom string, and header 2. And now, for those are short enough, the only one I will still cut deeper is this one. Nice. You get rid of the table of contents. So what is incremental reading? General outline, components. Oh, look at this one. Hints and tips. This is massive. Reading, generating clauses. So what's going to happen? If you read this, and you make an extract, or you read something you don't care, and the red point will be set here. Next repetition you will read up to here. Next repetition up to here. So it will take you a lot while to go through all of this, but perhaps you care more about reading than what was that? Importing. Importing makes sense at the beginning because you have nothing, no material. You will need to import. Makes sense. But then the appearance, that can be done later on, right? So before spending more time with close relations, with the appearance, I could have instead something that comes later of how the learning works. That to postpone, reschedule, that's a lot more useful. So in this case, and because it's still large, I will still use the split for the third. That's an exception. So the rest of the article, I will have only used first and second header. And that's more than enough. And then you can reprioritize this. So you will first get what you want first, what you need, and what you want first, and later it can wait. So therefore, you will be reading this article non-linearly, what incremental reading is about. So perhaps I will have read the disadvantages a lot sooner than pictures, let's say. Even if the order of appearance, pictures comes before that. And since it's so long, for me, I needed more than a year to read the entire article, because what was left was the neural review and all of this, that I did much later, after a few months, at the very least.
Tomorrow. Because tomorrow it's scheduled 340 reps.
And what he does is to spread this. Okay, this is useful if you're used to Anki. Let's say that you have the new cards, because everything is new. Unlike in Supermemo, that when you create the item, it has already an interval. It's scheduled already. It's not new. If you're used to this, feel free. If you don't understand this, and okay, let me still get some daily repetitions. But if you use priorities, what will happen? Now I have my genuine collection, so this won't be that meaningful. But if you see the workload, most of what you have split, it will be the next day and something like that. That's why he's using the spread. If you follow this strategy, no worries. They will be left outstanding. But you're using priorities. So I know I'm very optimistic. If you don't understand priorities, and I'm not sure what I have shown to you, yeah, let's do it. And even though I will do the spread in the order of priority. So even if it is very, very minor, what I reprioritized, it's still meaningful. And I can keep that. So I can go to process browser, learning, and the spread. Number of elements, let's say just 5, something very conservative. Okay. So now you see that the next repetition has changed. Cool. But look at that. If I sort by next repetition, it is more or less the same by priority. Not exactly. So almost there's a full congruency. There's some fuzziness, but what I will see next, even if I use the spread, it will be what is higher priority for me. So even if I use a mixed solution, it's still a lot better. I suggest if you're not sure what you're doing, you don't understand what I shared in this video so far, use this solution. Reprioritize what you already know that you won't actually use Supermemo for, or it will be later, like the node review and all of that will come much later. You won't have any meaningful, like the stats. While learning about the stats, if then you check your plots, your graphs, and you have no data to plot it, you will need to wait, right? So if you do this, then do the split. Once doing the splits, after having set the priority, then you do the spread, you're good to go.
So obviously that's too many. You want to spread this out over time. So if we do...
And that is an example of an empty. This is what happens when you split by everything, the default settings. When you have a jamming hierarchy that is header 1, header 2, you just get the header. That will be the header 2, incremental reading. It's dummy.
Control space. And then we click on this top leftmost button, the second undo yes. Rule of thumb, if you plan to have your estimate, and so if it's 60, make it 30. And then amongst that 30 stuff you want, estimating that 130 10 minutes, 10, you can go through the IR manual linearly. So if I do update, it'll spread this out over 34 days. I can do OK. And now I have around...
By the way, 34 days. Believe me, that won't be enough. You won't read the entire article in a month. That's guaranteed. And second, you don't need to either. So don't make the effort to put more time to read the entire article within a month. It's not worth it. And second, interleave it with the stuff you want. So what you love to read, put it in Supermemo. So don't just use Supermemo for learning how to use Supermemo. Unless you are like me, a freak like me. That for me was already pleasurable. Okay, that's the other way around. I suggested to use the concept hook to import it. Yes, if it's a very, very first thing to do, you can import this as a node, and then you convert the node as concept. Yeah, it's not that this could be useful at the beginning, but later on, that use case is very, very rare, very rare.
Press Control Space here, it'll show me everything under this, like everything in this folder. Or if I click on this, it'll show me everything under this, including this one. But yeah. But anyway, so if I press Learn and I see this strange thing and it's just nothing, right? Then I want to press Control D. So you can see here that it's scheduled that I'll see it in 1 day. And obviously I don't really care about seeing this since it's not really anything useful. Then I can just press Yes. And then if I press Learn again, it's showing me something else. So it's showing me this manual. And obviously, I've already split the manual, so there's no point in going through the original. It's super long anyways, so you can just do Control. But it's useful, then I can just see it in 1 day, right? Then I want to press...
Okay, I'm surprised he didn't understand that. What happened is that he did the concept, but at the end of the day, a concept is displayed as an element that is a topic on steroids with something added. So when you create this, it is nothing. Let me show that to you. So I was using this one as the, let's do this one. Okay, it was a concept now dismissed because he used the node. Import as a new node. Node with D, not T. With D, node.
It's important. This is dismiss. And one small thing I forgot to mention earlier. Before you do control space, you need to
Control space, and now you see that it changed the color, and now it's orange. Okay. I'm not familiar with this. Let me do it. I actually never used new node. Okay. So that's how you create the concept. No, it's a no, it's just a folder. So let's, I don't know, let's say that he did Control K. That is the new concept, and now I call it Supermemo. Okay. Well, I did, I misspelled that, sorry. Super. Now I cannot trigger this because I have more elements in my collection. No worries. No collection. I only have the concept from the root element. Nice. Now I do the split. But like he did. The reference has changed. Yeah, cancel. That's because of that bug. Okay. By the way, something I know he will mention, you have a split that. So usually you will apply done because you have everything duplicated in the children now. So then, I don't know, that was edited out because from one frame to the other becomes a concept. So assuming he did this, with the mouse would be right click, concept, create. Now it's a concept. And there's nothing else I have now. But the children. If I press learn, nothing more to learn. Cool. Then I will do the spread. I don't know if he added the spread in the concept. I'm not sure. Let me double check.
This is actually linearly. If you go to...
Yes. He added the concept that was dismissed. I don't know if that's part of the how it's triggered, the bug. First, there's no... it should not affect this because if it's dismissed, this won't ever see... there's no next repetition. Just in case, filter this out. Click here, this button. So you have a subset of everything that was not clicked. And now you can do the spread in 34 days, as he said, he did. Nice. And I will see 10 every single day. But now, let me actually sort it, the next rep. Compare. Look how arbitrary the priority is. So it's a lot more random what you will see next. Just to reinforce what I said earlier in this video. If I would split by header 1 and header 2, and before splitting I set the priority, it will be a lot more meaningful, even if I just did a couple of splits, nothing crazy. For instance, incremental reading, I don't care about this now. So everything related to incremental reading will be in a lower priority and set to the future. And here, I don't know, because this has been flattened, so the hierarchy, there's no hierarchy down. So it could be this, that, whatever, limited. Okay, I cannot trigger the bug, but what my best guess is that what he's seeing is this, the concept. And what happens is that the concept is dismissed, and it looks all empty because there's nothing. Because you applied done. If I apply now a template, an article, let's say, look at this. It's still dismissed, but I will see this. If now I apply done again, I will see it like if nothing is there. That's my best guess.
Criteria
of the situation.
You can see here it says please start. Here we're seeing something mysterious.
It will be nice if I could see his ancestors window to know where he actually is in the node, because here I can know the knowledge tree. Oh yeah, sorry. Here it is at the very top. Concept. Cool. It's exactly what I suspected. He's seeing the concept that he applied done, therefore has no content, has no component. So it looks like this, unless you modify the cosmetics. Basically a different color.
I don't know what this is. So
I'm surprised that Rice didn't get that.
what you can do for stuff where it seems like it's not useful. And one small thing I forgot to mention earlier, before you do control space, you need to click on the subset you want to see. So if I press control space here, it'll show me everything under this, like everything in this folder. Or if I click on this, it'll show me everything under this, including this one. But yeah. But anyway, so if I press learn and I see this strange thing and it's just nothing, right? Then
Strange is not strange. It's nothing, that's true. But it's because you dismiss it. Then I know what happened. I also think he cut this in the editing. It was dismissed, and all of a sudden it was no longer dismissed, the concept. There are many ways to achieve this. Just to name one, it's this concept. Control M. So remember, do you see the color? It changed. I guess he did that. But what happens? That is still nothing, because I applied done before. So this will show up in 4 days for sure, and it will be empty. So now you know.
I want to press Control D. It's not really anything useful, then I can just press yes. So it's showing me this, and I think this is the contents, which again is also not very useful. Oh, the very, very basics of Supermemo, and I'll just stick to mainly this and maybe 1 or 2 other shortcuts, is Alt-X and Alt-Z. If you don't like shortcuts, you can always use the equivalent button. So Alt-X is this, Alt-Z is this. So what extracts do, which is what Alt-X does, extract, is it'll sort of take the...
Yeah, the point is that at the first day, or even the first week, it's good enough. So if all you do is just extract and close deletion, it's part of the core. With this is already incremental reading. As easy as that. You can have many layers and many other more fancy and sophisticated concepts to apply in incremental reading, but the basics is this. I click on learn, I see the next element, I do an extract or a close deletion, and if it happens to be an item, which won't happen the first day, but in a few days you will see items, then I do the repetition and I will read my recall. That is already incremental reading. As easy as that. And then gradually, incrementally, as you are reading the actual manual, it's how I do this, how I do that. Oh, now I can actually do templates. Oh, now how I can use concepts. Now that I use concepts, how I use concept hooks, how I auto-apply the templates that I already created because I already know how they work. And you do this, pam, 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 pam. And in 40 hours, you can do virtually everything you want. If I want to do this, then this translates in Supermemo. I have to navigate to a subset, click here, this menu, It's called like this, pam, pam, pam. For me, it was 40 hours of genuine usage. And then, what is the rest? You can neglect it, because it's very likely you will use it.
The thing you highlight and then put it into...
Most people will never use it.
To a new topic. So the topic is... We'll do some crazy stuff, and it'll make this new topic, and it only has the stuff that I selected, right? That I'll learn. So this we're at this say 4, which is fairly good.
Which more or less is what he is portraying. I won't cover much here because this is just explaining once again the flow of incremental reading. I wanted to cover more specific importing the manual.
With this, you're good enough to go just start. Give it a skim. So let me do that now. So this one out there, and priority is really essential to making sure you don't go insane going through that all.
Okay, so just as an example, to reiterate that if you do a flat hierarchy, it will be a more arbitrary the order, and especially because you haven't had an opportunity to prioritize. And you have this complexity of, priority queue, 0%. Now let's say, okay, now I want to fully understand priority queues. Where is this? It's flat. So I have to rely, just as an example, so I have to rely on, let me search priority. But it is suboptimal. Look at the priorities. It's very high, medium, and then very low. But this is suboptimal because perhaps in the text it is in plural, priorities, or prioritization, or whatever. So yeah, now I could set a subset from here, but it's going more complex, especially at the beginning. You are not familiar with this. So if I go back to my other collection, here will be a lot easier. Perhaps I want to bin the title. Then I will do find title and priority. Not found. Okay, then let's look at the body. By the way, I could also say the plural, priorities. Sorry, optional. Is priority or priorities, and I don't care about the case, if it's lowercase, uppercase. Okay, I have this. Then I sort by priority, which are already meaningful. And here I have some meaningful order. Unit in clauses, in learning, what is incremental reading, heap, hints, disadvantages. That is a lot easier to pick now. Oh yeah, what is going to happen if I pick through articles to have a preview? Priority. Oh, look at that. And it's here and boom. Nice. Interruption. How is the relationship of interruption and priority? Let me quickly scan. Here you go. When you return next time, you may conclude that another piece of data is lower priority after a review of a few years. Oh, cool. What about the disadvantage? Is there a disadvantage of prioritization? Let me see. This is why you must read 20 Rules of Formulating Knowledge. Another article you can import, by the way. It's almost a must have. Keep knowledge selection at the front of your mind and be honest with your priority queue. And this is on learning garbage. Hey, so perhaps I can extract this already. I don't know even where it is in the knowledge tree. I don't need to. And it will be in one day. In this case, I have this priority, and I could even increase it a lot. That this is very important. Let me check here. Hence, this is extracted. I will require to apply done there, which I forgot during the recording of the video. Then here. Oh, cool. So setting the priority counts as an action. It's part of an action. I have to do this every single repetition when it's useful. Questions like this. It's a lot easier because I have just 32 topics instead of 300, and all of them are. And now it's okay. I'm here. One action, one memory. Oh, this is meaningful, and now I want to know where it is. So I pressed Alt-C, and it happens to be inside to recognizing suitable texts, which again, I forgot to apply done. So now, you know what? Even if it's not related to priority necessarily, it's something that is meaningful now for me. So we'll start a subset from this. So we'll see this. In this case, it's a dummy. In this case, I haven't applied in this collection, I didn't apply the spread. Oh, PDF articles. Cool. Can make you smarter, the big picture. This is something, it's very common, very likely that you will struggle with this, or some questions you may have. So how I select the knowledge, which is kind of related to the priorities, but it's not there. Doesn't say priorities. This is a lot easier, in my opinion. So if you're new to Supermemo, and you're using this very same article, the Incremental Learning Manual, let me know what method you used and what you think, and if you agree or disagree with what I said in the video. Almost an hour of shooting with no editing, 1 hour of reaction. Oh my god, I always talk forever. I mean, it's my jam. I hope for you it's the same, that you could spend countless hours using Supermemo. And you will have to use priorities just for the sake of the limited time you can spend on. So nothing more to add today, and see you incrementally.